Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back. I am on another fabulous garden tour. I cannot wait for you all to see it, but first I want to introduce you to Allyson. Allyson, she is from Yuba City, which is about an hour away from me. So hot, middle of California, right?
Yes.
And Allyson, you have lived here for about 16 years?
16 years.
Is that right? And you're the main gardener here.
I am, yes.
Yeah, which is key, you guys, because when we go and we see what Allyson has done with her garden, your jaws will drop. It is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So what got you started in gardening?
You know, I think I started with vegetable gardening. I cared about just raising my food, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And the landscape gardening really wasn't a thing for me. It was just, you know, a necessity of I got to put something there.
Yeah.
And let's put some plants in, and I had a lot of grass.
Yeah.
But the vegetable gardening is where I started.
Okay.
And then from there, I think just YouTube, really, Laura from Garden Answer.
It pulls you in.
It does. And I just started seeing all the things that she was doing.
Yeah.
And I tried to kind of mimic some of that on a smaller scale and just see how it went. And
Yeah.
it went well. And I'm just kind of obsessed now. It's all I do.
Definitely have a green thumb.
Thank you.
Because tell everybody about how you divide plants.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. So, I mean, whenever I can.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not afraid now.
Okay.
When I first started gardening, I was afraid I was going to kill things and didn't really know what to do. And then I just reached a point where I just stopped caring about that. And I am not afraid to just take a shovel to something and dig it up and move it and divide it, trying to propagate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really follow like the rules, I guess. I just,
no, I
just, and it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
And that's okay.
And it's
I
okay
learn.
to fail.
Right.
But I
right.
think the really interesting thing about Allyson's garden is that a lot of things you have divided, a lot of things you've propagated, a lot of things you've built with your own bare hands.
Yes.
You'll see, of course, with some help from friends and family and stuff like that.
Yes.
But this garden is you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't go out and buy this garden. Like this
Right.
garden you built, right?
Yes.
Which is just so cool. I love seeing it.
Thank
You
you.
are a gardener.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us come. So first off, you all have probably noticed this incredible arch behind us. This is star jasmine. It's not in bloom right now, but I can only imagine when it's in bloom.
It's covered
Oh
in blooms.
my
yes.
gosh, I bet it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So I want you all, once I grab the camera and we go inside, I want you all to pay attention to Allyson's arches, because you are the arch queen.
Oh,
you are inspiring me. I got to go home and I got to get some cattle panels and I got to make arches because your arches are just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me
Thank
get the camera and we'll get started.
Okay.
All right, Allyson. So we are in your front yard right
Yes.
now, correct? And so your front yard, you have this is it a maple tree?
Yes, I planted that 15 years ago. It was a baby.
Oh my goodness.
So this space has gone through a lot of change. When I first bought this house, I bought it from the original owner, and it had been a rental for about 15 years.
Okay.
So it was taken care of, but all original. So the house inside and out has had to be completely redone. So the tree that was here when I bought the property was dying, and it just needed to come out. So that's something that I did pretty quickly, removed that tree, and then started landscaping. There was no irrigation on this property at all. Put in all of the irrigation.
Wow.
Built the garden bed and then laid sod. And so the maple tree was a baby at the time, and it's now about 15 years old.
Now it's beautiful.
So now it's in full shade.
Right,
which it
that's
didn't
what I was
used to
going to
be.
say.
Right.
Your front yard is basically full shade, and you're
Yes.
growing some really, really beautiful
Thank
things.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, do you want to? What is this right here?
So this is a black and blue salvia, and it actually came from my mom's house.
Oh, did you
so-
divide it?
Yes.
I love.
So,
So how do you divide this?
so black and blue salvia is my favorite plant. Here, you absolutely need it.
100%.
So you can completely cut it back to the ground in the fall and winter.
Okay.
And it literally just looks like sticks on the ground. It looks like it's dead.
Okay.
And at that point, you can just dig chunks of it out. no rhyme or reason. Just dig chunks of it out and stick it in a hole somewhere, and it will grow back this big every single year.
It's crazy.
And this isn't even the best one on the property. We'll look at a better one later. But so yeah, I love the cobalt blue color, and then the calyxes are black, and it's just so pretty.
It's just so pretty, and it handles our heat here.
Yep.
Right? Like, is Yuba City hotter than Davis?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. But one thing you do have here is wind, right?
Oh yes, on this property, and you wouldn't think that I would, because I live at the end of a cul-de-sac. I have a wall behind me, but it's like a wind tunnel on this property.
Crazy.
So I need things that can handle the heat, the sun, and heavy winds, high winds.
And the dry wind,
Yes.
which to me, I think is the most damaging to plants.
Yes.
Like that's the hardest thing to keep plants happy, where there's wind.
Right.
So if this guy can handle it, then it can handle anything.
Yeah.
So you have these, what is this right here?
This is a lilac.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and it's out of bloom already. It's one of the first thing that blooms in the spring, and I don't remember the variety.
That's okay.
But yeah, so it blooms really beautifully, and actually it blooms before the salvia comes up, so it's kind of a nice succession there.
So it blooms in shade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it does get some sun here. When the sun gets up, and in the afternoon, it'll get sun for a few hours before it goes back. But yeah, and so then I prune it back after it blooms, and then it just sits here green for the rest of the season.
Absolutely beautiful.
This is Bidens, white Bidens. I can't remember the exact variety, but they love the heat and the sun.
So tell me, so you were telling me that this garden bed, you don't come out here that much.
Very
right?
rarely.
So this garden bed is kind of a set it and forget it garden bed.
Yes, it's very self-sufficient. Everything's on automatic watering.
Yeah.
I probably do not weed as often as I should.
None of us do, so don't feel bad about that. It's really, really beautiful. And I love even more that it's a set it and forget it garden, because there's some places that we all need. We all need those spots that we can't pay attention to everything. Right. You know what I mean?
And I don't even come in and out of the front door. I come through the garage every day. So I'm often, I often don't even put eyes on this. And so it needs to just be able to take care of itself.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Can we go through the gate? Because that is, I can't wait for you guys to see. It's like a secret garden. All right. So tell me about this part of your yard. Yes. Look at that back there. We'll be there in a second. I'll show you all that.
So this is my raised garden bed, my raised vegetable beds. And I started planning this in 2018. I built these in 2019. Prior to this, I had a smaller raised garden bed, vegetable garden on the other side of my property, much smaller. And for 10 years living here, this whole side of my yard was just 4-foot tall weeds that I could not keep under control. It was absolutely horrible.
That's crazy.
And
to see the difference now, it's like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I just reached a point where I was like, I've got to do something. I cannot handle the weeds. It was more maintenance to cut weeds down than it is to do this.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Yeah. I'm trying to show you all, but the tomatoes and the sunflowers and the black-eyed Susans are all so lush and growing already that it's just, it's just so cool, Allyson.
I love it out here.
I love it.
Thank you.
When I came here this morning, because I've seen pictures on your Instagram, but when I came here this morning, it was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I love it.
Thank you so much.
So tell me about this garden bed right here.
So this little strip actually had a bunch of other plants in it until spring that just weren't doing well. I have gophers, and they get things, and I just really have struggled with this small little bed. So I pulled everything out in the spring, other than the banana cream too. That's a Proven Winners plant. I love that.
Let us know if you divide it.
I'm gonna try and divide it. I can't get. I would just plant more if I could get my hands on them, but I could never find them.
I know they're so hard to find.
I'm gonna attempt to divide it in the fall. We'll see how it works.
Keep us updated.
Thank you. And then, so just for now, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this, I just threw some supertunias in here, and just to fill the space.
It's just so pretty.
Thank you.
I love your mulch too. Is this the pathway mulch?
This is Kellogg garden soil.
What?
It's actually a compost / garden soil, but it has a really light chip, and I use it as mulch.
It works
my
perfectly.
soil is super happy because of it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Right.
It's so funny. Kellogg uses so much bark in their, like wood chips in their soil. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought that this was mulch, but
Yeah, no,
You
it's
know?
not technically mulch, but I use it as mulch. But I also use it like in my pots. I'll put it, maybe fill my pots halfway with this and then put potting soil on top. I use it to amend my beds every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
good
great.
to know.
It's great. Yeah.
I see some tomatoes.
Oh, yes, I need to come out and pick some things.
Oh my goodness, this is such a lush garden. Do you know the
Thank
kinds
you.
of tomatoes you're growing?
I believe this is an early girl. I have the tags in here, and probably a celebrity.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's go see.
Okay.
Well, first, can you guys see? Let me see if I can zoom in on this massive, massive sunflower. So tell me about your sunflowers.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, I just tossed some seed in and got a bunch of sunflowers, and I don't cut them back until they're completely dead. So
Yeah.
they kind of fall and hang, and the birds love them, and then the seeds drop, and I have never had to plant sunflowers again. They just keep
Wow.
coming back every year.
So you recognize the seedling of a sunflower and you just leave it,
Yep.
or do you just?
Yep. In fact, one year I had so many seedlings coming up in my pathways that I would have had a forest. I had to pick them all.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so the birds absolutely love this
Wow.
space for the sunflowers.
Oh gosh,
So,
and that sunflower is
yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially being in the raised bed, it just makes
Right.
it even more ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's stop here.
Okay.
And tell me about your tomato cages, because you, my dear, have a special talent with tomato cages.
I make these tomato cages. So it is a little bit of an investment at first. But
show you.
I love growing tomatoes. That's my favorite thing. And I care about high yield and production because I
Okay.
want lots and lots of tomatoes. And so regular tomato cages are not strong enough to actually support a tomato. And we have a very long growing season, so our plants get really large. So these are actually wire mesh sheets that you would buy in like the concrete section of a home improvement store.
Wow.
They come flat.
Okay.
And they're a little more pliable when they're new. And so I buy those and you roll them up. I clip a couple of the squares down just so that it's a little bit smaller when I make it into a circle.
Okay.
I cut the bottom line off so that there are actually little pokey things at the bottom that stick down in. That's what holds it in the ground.
Okay.
And then I use zip ties and close them up. And
Wow.
they are wonderful.
These are so much prettier than my tomato cages.
Well, and they last forever. So these tomato cages, I mean, I've been vegetable gardening for probably 14 or 15 years, and these are the same tomato cages I've had all this time.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm so doing this.
So it is an investment at first, but
Okay.
they are far superior, and you'll just never have to buy them again.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But when you go to the garden center and you look at some of those fancy tomato cages, they're like $40. Some
They
of the fancy ones,
they
you
are.
know? So
Now, the only downside to these, I would say, is they don't break down. So if you don't have room to store them and
Okay.
you're limited on space, that could
Yeah.
be an issue.
yeah. But I love how they rust.
Yes.
I just love it.
I love them.
I just am so impressed with it.
Thank you.
What a good idea.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, is this corn?
It is.
Oh my goodness.
So I could not successfully grow corn for years.
Really?
I tried and I just couldn't, it never produced anything, but I still grew it because I love the corn stalks.
I know.
So I would cut the corn stalks and I'd use them for decorations.
Yeah.
And that was fine for me. That was enough for me.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, I came out and there was corn. I have no idea what I did differently, but, and ever since then I've been getting corn. So
It's just this whole area right here is just incredible. And I
Thank
know I'm
you.
not showing it properly on
Thank
camera.
you.
Can you show me this arch right
Oh,
here?
sure. So this is actually a cattle panel or a hog panel. I got them at Tractor Supply. And it's kind of hard to see because it's covered.
Yeah.
But they are just sitting on top of the soil, and I have T-posts nailed down in, and they're zip tied to the T-posts, so they have the support on either side. And yeah, they're here all the time. And then this is black-eyed Susan vine, which I just started from seed. I just tossed the seed in. I'm not a seed starter. Just so you know,
Okay.
I don't have the patience usually for seed starting. So if I can direct seed, I'll do that.
You'll do that.
So I tossed the seed in and just thought, we'll see what happens. And the first year they weren't great,
Okay.
but don't give up on them because I've never had to seed them again, and they come back like this every
they
year.
come back. Oh my goodness. It's just
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's another one over there. You can't even see through here. There's another one over there, and it just makes this whole garden bed just magical, just absolutely magical. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You can never take this out.
I know. Oh, I won't. And it's really nice. It provides, I mean, it's dual purpose. It's pretty, but it provides support. I can grow things over it. I grow pumpkins over it. I've grown spaghetti squash over it. I mean, flowers, anything. It even helps support the corn because I do get wind back here. I can tie things to it if they're starting to lean. It's very practical as well.
Just so incredibly beautiful.
Thank you.
Let me show the ground real quick. So you've got this just pea gravel, basically.
Just pea gravel.
And then you've got this little border of these rocks, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so pretty. Look at how many, can you guys see how many bees are on this black and blue?
This is probably the best looking black and blue salvia on the property right now.
Because it's in full sun.
It just loves this space.
Oh my gosh, it's just so big.
But I've just continued to, you know, you just dig it up, and it all came as from one plant at my parents' house.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You're such a, like, what's the word? Like, you're such a, like, the way you garden is like you use everything to the nth degree.
Yeah, I'd like to find ways to reuse things. Yeah, if I can get dual purpose out of something, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't like to get rid of things. I like to hang on to them in case I can find another purpose for it.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just love, it's like so interesting when you're taking me through the garden, you're saying, yeah, that's a division. Yeah, I did, you know, I've had that for 16 years.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's just so cool. I love it.
Well, you have to have patience, and I'm not very patient in other areas of my life, but with gardening, I'm very patient.
You are patient.
Yeah.
And it's paying off.
Yeah,
it's
thank
just
you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So this is your bougainvillea?
Yes.
Or bougainvillea?
Yeah, I planted it just last fall, and this is the first time I've gotten blooms on it, so it seems happy.
So pretty. Do you know what kind it is?
Oh, it's like a something orange. It actually ends up more of a peachy color when it really is in full bloom.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so pretty. And then what's this right here?
Oh, this is Mexican heather, and this also divides really well. So actually, if you just look here, I dug out two little ones. One's doing better than the other, but yeah, I dig it out and just put it in new spots all the time.
So next year you're gonna have 3 big shrubs like that.
These will be this big next year.
Oh man, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, this Rose of Sharon, I cannot take my eyes off it.
You need a Rose of Sharon.
I am getting a white pillar rose of. This is white pillar, right?
This is white pillar by Proven Winners.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so romantic.
Thank you.
Look at this.
Now it gets wind, so I do have it supported with some ties in the back.
Okay.
But as it gets older, I have an older Rose of Sharon on the other side of the property that I'll show you. The older a Rose of Sharon gets, the sturdier it gets.
Oh, okay.
So this one's only a few years old.
Wow.
But as it gets older, my hope is that it won't need to be supported.
Okay.
It may not need to be supportive if I didn't have the wind.
Now, have you pruned this one back?
I prune it every year.
You do?
Usually so the original one that I got from a master gardener plant sale.
Okay.
And they gave me the advice at the time to cut it back hard the first few years. It helps beef up the base of it. And so I followed that. And so that's what I've been doing with this one.
Okay.
Once it's established, I think the advice is to take about 1/3 of it out every year. And so that's what I currently do with the older one. But this one, I cut back pretty far, about 1 foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. Oh, it's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
This whole garden is just so beautiful. And this is not a big garden.
It's not.
Right?
It's not. No.
I'll show you guys the back of her house. Do you know how big your property is?
It's just a normal city lot. I don't know exactly, and I'm at the end of a cul-de-sac, so it's shaped like a pie.
Yeah.
So this side yard is much larger than the rest.
Yeah, but how fun that you have this whole side yard.
Yeah.
I mean, look at your zinnias.
Yeah.
And your zucchini. She's giving me some zucchini to take home, which I'm excited because my zucchini plant is not ready. And then do you guys see that crepe myrtle right there? Oh, it's just so incredibly beautiful. Okay, the thing I came for. So tell me about your shed.
My shed. We built this shed. So my dad is a builder, and he has helped me on almost all of my major building projects, DIY projects here at this house. And I wanted a shed. And so, we just decided to build it. And
this was built from scratch, basically?
Absolutely, yes. Wow. Completely scratch. The door even, I built the door.
Now, when you say you built the door.
I built the door.
Literally, she built the door.
I built the door.
Yeah, she uses power tools, which I love. That's amazing. And look at how beautiful this door is, you guys. Oh, okay, first before we go in, let's show this little vignette right now.
Okay.
This is so cute. So Allyson has an eye. She has an eye for design, even inside your house.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like staring and like getting ideas, all your decoration. But you just have such a wonderful eye for how things should be laid out.
Thank you.
So tell me about this thing right here.
Yeah, so my bottle bush smoke bush, I'm sorry, my smoke bush tree, which is not very pretty. I pruned it way too late this year.
Yeah, that's okay. I think it's still
normally
beautiful.
looks beautiful and has a really large canopy. When I prune it every year, the cuttings are really pliable, and so I use them for various things. So this is just cut off of that tree.
Wow.
And then I made an obelisk out of it.
It's so pretty.
And then I used them here. I bent them over when they were still really soft and just stuck them. This isn't even tied together. They're just stuck in the pot.
Oh my gosh. And then tell me about this hydrangea.
Oh, so yeah, so I have a hydrangea in the front that came from my mom's house also. So about 20 years ago, my mom had a friend who had a beautiful hydrangea bush, and she got a cutting or a baby from that, and that's been in her yard for about 20 years. So when I bought this house, she dug part of that out and brought it to me, and that is what's in my front yard. And then that has since produced babies. So I have 2 other babies from that in the yard, and then this year I
one
took
of the babies right there.
3 cuttings from it. This is the first time I've tried to propagate.
Looks like it's going well.
So I took 3 cuttings, and they're all blooming and looking beautiful. So these will go out in the landscape next year.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so pretty. See what I mean? Like, you're so, like, your smoke bush branches. And like, what is this pot sitting on?
Oh, it's just a cinder block.
It's a cinder block.
Yeah, so I had some left over from a project.
Look what she did with her pots. Is, you know, she just kind of stacked them or raised the ones that she needs to have a little bit taller just with cinder blocks. It's just so neat.
Thank you.
What about these wagons?
So the wagons came from my grandparents. I have one from each set of grandparents.
Oh.
And these are literally the wagons that my cousins and I rode around on at our grandparents' houses.
Oh my goodness.
So when my grandparents passed away, I got the wagons, and I use them for various things. Plants, pots, I put pumpkins in them.
But they're so beautiful right here.
They're really special.
Yeah, like you can never take that. Like, it's so beautiful. All right, shall we see inside?
Yes, okay.
First, show us your amazing Dutch door.
Oh, okay, okay. So.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Oh my God.
It really doesn't have any practical use. I just thought it was fun, and I wanted to do it, so I did it. I wanted to try it.
Beautiful.
And it worked.
It's practical for pictures. What are you talking about? Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this. Look at this. Oh, okay. So where do we even start? Let's start with this special thing right here.
So I built the shed pretty much around this. Before building the shed, I knew I wanted one. But I found this at Antique Trove in Roseville.
Which I've taken you guys there before with Robbie.
Yes.
Yeah. And I might be going there after I leave here because she's gotten a lot of things from there, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
So there were several of these, and they came out of an old hardware store. They were just hardware store bins. Wow. And when I saw it, I thought, man, that would make a great dry sink, because I knew I wouldn't have water out here. I was never planning to have water. I don't have electricity out here.
Yeah.
But I want a place where I can pot some things up and not make a huge mess. So this slides in and out of this space.
Oh my gosh.
And
you have such a good eye, Allison.
And so I built the shelves around it to fit.
I don't think I would ever put 2 and 2 together to use this as a dry sink if I saw it at Antique Trove.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for that.
Thank you.
I mean, like, how cool. If you started seeds, it would be perfect.
I know. This is what happens when I try and do things in pots. It dies because it doesn't have water to it.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's why I don't start seeds.
And then tell me about this floor.
Yeah, this is just plywood, and I purchased a stencil and just painted it.
You painted this?
Yes. Very easy. This was very, very easy. Just a stencil and 2 colors of paint. That's it.
My mouth is open, you guys. Because when I saw pictures of this before, I thought you had done like special tile.
Oh yeah, most people think it's tile. It's just plywood, and not even nice plywood. I mean, rough plywood that got rained on at one point. Yeah. And then I just kind of smoothed it out a little bit and prepped the space and painted, and that's it. And it gets filthy, and I can just sweep it out, and it's no big deal.
Oh my gosh. You guys, how inspirational is this? Paint. It's literally paint on plywood.
Just paint.
And even your, what do you call these, shelves?
The shelves, yeah, they're not painted or anything. They're just rough.
I love them like that. Tell me about these beautiful windows.
So I knew I wanted some sort of vintage window vibe with this, and wasn't really sure the direction I wanted to go. So I'd been looking for a while, and then I found a gentleman in Lincoln who had all kinds of things to sell, vintage things, just all kinds of stuff, a barn full. And so I went to his property and saw the windows. He had pulled these out of a 100-year-old farmhouse in Maine, and he and his wife drove them, and amongst other things, back to California. And it was perfect because if you're going to build something like this, you need windows that are relatively the same size. They need, otherwise the framing is just too chaotic.
It would look a little odd.
So it worked perfect. So I bought all of these from him. $200, all the windows.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, you couldn't even get a custom window.
No way.
You couldn't get one custom window for $200.
Yeah.
So they were in rough shape. They needed, I removed all the glass, I reglazed everything, I repainted everything, and then we installed them.
Holy cow.
And they're just on like hinges with these little eye hooks that hold them closed.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just prop them open with little pieces of lumber.
So how did you get so talented to do all this DIY stuff? Was it from your dad, who's a builder?
Definitely. My dad's a builder. He can do anything from the ground up. And I just kind of grew up around tools and on work sites and playing with scrap pieces of wood and nails and hammers and and I'm just not afraid. I'm just not afraid to try,
which is huge. Which I think is probably the biggest thing.
My dad at one point said, when I bought this house and it was needed to be completely redone, he said at one point, there's absolutely nothing that you can do that we can't fix. And that was very freeing. So I don't have a problem just taking out walls and
you're a lucky girl.
Just trying stuff.
You're a lucky girl. I love that. I mean, how fun. How fun to just kind of go for it and to learn as you go, and to, it's like there's nothing that you can't do, basically. Right?
Yeah,
nothing is unfigureoutable.
Oh, absolutely.
I heard that quote. I don't know where it's from.
I agree with that quote. I agree.
Nothing is unfigureoutable. Is this more of your smoke bush?
This is more from the smoke bush, and I was thinking I would make some sort of like grid, tie them together, and maybe hang it up at the top here to hang dried flowers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I just haven't gotten to that project yet, so it's still there.
Pretty? Yeah. You should do that, and then hang like greens for Christmas.
Oh, that would be a great idea.
And then take pictures.
I love that idea.
You should rent this shed out for pictures for a photographer. I'm serious. It's so cute. I know.
Thank you.
I know a photographer, and she talks about renting places out that are so cute. This is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Look at this. Look at this. Okay, so we've got an arch there. We have the star jasmine arch. We've got an arch there. We've got an arch that we're coming to over there, and then one more over on the other side of the house. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arches.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell me about this wall. Are we on the other side of a busy road?
We're on the other side of a highway. So this wall was built by the city.
Yeah.
And
at least it's pretty.
It's a beautiful backdrop.
Yes.
It's a fence I'll never have to replace.
Right.
Yes, I love that.
And I like the color.
Thank you.
And it gives you privacy.
It does. It's very noisy, but I'm used to it now.
What did your son's girlfriend say?
Oh, she said, just think of it as the ocean.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so...
It's ocean noise.
Yes, it was just such a nice perspective because I had never thought of that before.
Yes, but honestly, I've been here for like an hour now, and I don't even notice.
You don't really notice it.
I honestly don't notice it. And by the way, I live right next to an airport, so.
And you say that all the time, and I never hear any noise in the background.
But that's the magic of editing. All right, so here is this gorgeous hydrangea. This is the one from your mom's friend.
Well, this is the baby from the one in the front yard, which is from my mom's friend.
It's like a whole generation of hydrangeas, and you don't know the name of this hydrangea.
I don't. But it does bloom on new and old wood. I know that.
Oh, funny.
So it's not that old, right? Because the really, really old ones don't do that.
Right.
And it gets full sun, and it does get a little bit singed, but not too bad. It gets a lot of water. I make sure to water it, but then what it'll do is it'll start to get a little singed, and then it pushes up this new growth, and all the new ones just cover it.
Beautiful.
So,
and I was saying, I was saying I'm so surprised that it does so well with the heat of the concrete wall behind it. But it's doing beautifully.
Yeah.
Can I show off this little container right here?
Sure.
So where did you get this?
I got this at Junk Hunt.
So what is Junk Hunt?
It's just, what is it, like an antique fair that kind of travels around the country?
Yeah.
And they have one in Roseville every year.
Yeah.
So I went, and this is an old vintage wash bin, and I thought that'd make a great planter. And I didn't even have to put holes in it or anything because it naturally has openings at the bottom from it being a wash bin.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's so fantastic. You have such a good eye.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and you have a fig tree here.
Yeah, this is from my friend Nick. He propagated them. I actually had 3 and I killed 2. Sorry, Nick. But
It happens.
this is the one I have left, and it's pretty happy here.
It looks good. It looks fantastic. You've got some Nepeta that smells so good. I love the smell.
Yeah.
What kind of rose is this?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name. I know it. Distant Drums.
Distant Drums.
Have you ever been to Menagerie Flower Farm here in Sutter County?
But I need to.
You need to go.
I know.
So these are from Menagerie, and then I have another that's from her as well. And I've also I did a rose pruning class with her, which is phenomenal. You need to go.
Okay.
You need to go.
She has an amazing book.
She does.
Right?
Yes.
She's like right here.
Right
what
here.
am I doing?
Right here. Right here.
I will do it. I promise. It's been on my list of like places to go and things to see and all that kind of stuff. So, oh, this is so pretty.
Thanks.
So we have more salvia. Which one is this?
This is Rockin' Fuchsia, and there's a hole in it. I have some neighbor cats that like to come and sleep in my plants.
Oh, nice.
So, but you know what? They catch gophers, so it's fine.
Okay.
We have a good relationship
How does
in that
Harry
way.
like the cats?
Harry does not like the cats.
Oh, poor Harry.
But
Tell everyone about Harry.
Harry is my dachshund. He's 16 years old, so he is an old man now, and he can't run and chase anybody much. But he's very
kind
sweet.
of a
He's
slow
over.
mover.
We'll see him in a minute. He's whining over here.
Oh,
so.
poor thing.
Yeah. So yeah, the Rockin' Fuchsia really loves this space, and I have this plant in a couple other spots.
It's so big.
Thanks.
It's so mine aren't old enough yet.
Yeah.
You know, to
And this gets cut back to the ground pretty much.
Wow.
I mean, you just take it all the way down. And the other thing I really love about this space, just how it's filling in, is the coreopsis, which I know some people don't like this, but the coreopsis is the yellow, and they will start to fade and they look like this, but I like it. To me, it gives the garden depth, and then it continues to push new blooms all season.
Yeah.
And this is another great one. You literally dig it out and stick it somewhere.
I
So
love
like
it.
That's what that dying one back there is.
Oh, nice.
Looks like it's dying. It's just one I just dug out and stuck it there, and
It's in
next year
shock.
it'll fill in that space.
So I just recorded a podcast on naturalistic gardening, and the point of it is to let a flower grow, bloom, go to seed, and then die, and you just leave it, and you appreciate the whole life cycle of the flower, of the plant. You're not trying to force it to bloom all the time.
I deadhead very few things out here. There are plants that you probably should deadhead, and I deadhead my roses so that they'll continue to bloom.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't do a lot of deadheading. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
That's
I need
too much
things
work.
that can handle. They can handle it on their own.
Well, you just say, "Oh, I do naturalistic gardening."
There you go. That's what
the name for
That's
it.
What it'll be. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you have butterflies everywhere. This beautiful butterfly bush that just looks happy as a clam. Oh, I just love it. And I have to say, I love your wall.
Oh,
I love it.
I really like it too.
So tell me about what's on this arch.
Yeah, this is a Cecil Brunner rose, and it blooms very early in the spring, tiny pink blooms. It's very minimal thorns, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it loves its home. So
it's beautiful. See what I mean by Queen of the Arches? Okay, are we ready to meet Harry?
Yeah, yeah.
Harry.
Here's Harry.
Hello, old man.
So Harry is, I'll pick him up. Harry is 16.
Harry has,
and he only has three teeth, and
one tooth over here, and then his tongue sticks out.
His tongue hangs out because he doesn't have any teeth to hold them in.
Poor Harry, you're so cute.
He's my garden buddy. He loves to be in the garden with me.
Aww.
He still digs for worms and chases lizards, and that's how he likes to spend his days.
He's a very slow walker.
Yes,
so
very slow.
Are very patient with him. All right, tell me about what you got going here.
Oh, this is all you, Janie.
I love it.
So this will eventually be my espalier jasmine wall.
I love the shape of your diamonds.
Thank you.
Like that's like Harlequin kind of. It's gonna look so pretty, Allyson. It's gonna look so good.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see how this
looks. So
looks.
I bought really tiny plants. So there hasn't been much growth yet. This is really their first season. I put them in in the fall.
Yeah, it'll come.
So it'll take some time.
It'll come.
Yeah.
So pretty. And then so you've got some nice lawn here.
Yes.
For Harry. I'm sure he loves it. Another one of your black and blues.
Black and blue salvias. Yep.
Wow.
Mexican heather.
So is this another division from one of the plants?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, girl.
Yep. I know. I actually don't know what that salvia is. I don't remember planting it. It's a little more purple than the black and blue, so I don't know where it came from. If I planted it, I don't remember.
It does look a little more purple. That's interesting.
And in the spring, this entire bed, before any of these things put on any new growth. This entire bed is poppies all spring.
Oh my gosh.
And then I cut back it, you know, eventually the foliage just looks really mangy.
Yeah.
And so I cut it back and I just put annuals in here to fill the space because I don't want to take away the poppies. You can kind of see they're still trying to trying to do their thing still.
But they're so pretty.
Thank you.
Okay, tell me about the Mexican petunias.
Mexican petunia, yeah.
Wow.
So I got these at Green Acres. There's 2 of them.
They're so pretty.
They love the heat. They love, this area gets a little bit of overspray from the sprinkler too. So I need things that can handle that. And I get wind like crazy through here. So they can hold their own. They'll get about 5 feet or so tall.
By the end of the season?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you cut them back at the end of the season?
I do. Cut them all the way back.
Wow.
But these beautiful purple flowers, they drop their flowers almost every night and then push new ones every day, which is really interesting.
So this Mexican petunia, it's a really good heat tolerant plant.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So if you live in like Arizona or Texas or hot parts of California, it's a fabulous plant.
Yeah,
and
it's beautiful.
I wonder if you can propagate that.
I don't know.
Try
it. It grows kind of from a, I don't want to say a trunk, but it's a little more contained. Now I've heard that in some places in the country they are invasive. They are definitely not invasive here.
No way.
So I don't have them popping up all over. So I don't know. I haven't tried to divide it, but
there are some things that I wish were more invasive for us, like creeping Jenny. Yeah. I wish it was more invasive for us.
Thank you. Agreed. Agreed.
But it's so pretty. It is such a pretty plant, and it's so nice up against this wall. Man, ooh, this looks good.
Yeah, I just put, this is my mini swoop.
Oh, I love it! Look at your swoop!
My swoop, yeah.
But it's really pretty, and as it grows, man, it's going to be incredible.
So this section is all new this year.
Okay.
This is where I used to have my original vegetable garden, and it was just in this corner. So when I built the big garden, I decided, well, I don't need to, so I need to do something different here. So last year my son helped me dig. This used to be all grass and then the vegetable garden in the corner. So my son helped me dig everything out and move it all. And so almost everything in this space, plant-wise, is brand new. The fire pit area is brand new.
It's so pretty.
All this year.
It's so, you guys did such a good job.
Thank you.
You did such a good job.
Thank you.
Look at how good this looks. And yes, everything is young. You can see what a young garden looks like, but holy cow, once everything starts growing in, it's going to be so lush and beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that I can see your drip so that I can see how you hook it up because.
Yeah. And you know, I don't, when I put mulch down, my goal is not even really to cover the drip.
No.
I mean, realistically, it shakes out anyway, so you're going to see it. Eventually, all these plants will fill in like it on the other side of the yard. And
hold on, I want to watch Harry come down.
He has a ramp.
Come here. You did it. You're so
good job, bud.
Good job. Sorry.
Good job, bud. It's okay.
He came down behind you, and I'm just like, I'm distracted.
And so this is another baby hydrangea from the one over here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I just put this in this year, so it's got a little bit of shock burn.
Yeah, yeah.
But the blooms have been beautiful.
Oh, it's so pretty. And then what are these right here?
This is osteospermum. This is Proven Winners. It's a double something. I can't remember the name of it.
Moon glow or something like that? Okay.
Harry, no, not on the plants, please. And I love the double bloom of it.
It's so pretty. Is this plain the blue salvia?
Yep, plain the blue salvia. And I have it in the front as well. So you saw it in the front. It gets really, really large. So these will get big. Harry keeps walking over that one. That's why it's a little smaller.
Harry, my goodness.
This used to be his pathway with grass.
Oh.
So that's why I have that little gate there, because he just barrels right through the plant, because he's been used to doing that for years. Yeah.
Sweet thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have our, what is this, our 5th arch, right? And what do you have? This is your newest one.
This is my newest one,
and what do you have growing on this one?
Colette roses.
Ooh, pretty.
Which I'm so excited about.
Oh.
I've tried to get my hands on Colette for 3 years.
Yeah.
And just missed, they just sell out so fast.
I know. People just want them. It's
so
funny.
I know. So I sent a bunch of emails out to different nurseries, and Van Winden said, we have 3, and I said, I need 2, I'm on my way.
Yay, Van Winden!
Yes!
So that's a good tip for people, that if you really want something, just start calling out.
Yep.
That's what I did on my Matilla Hot Poppy. Actually, Van Winden's is the one who had it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So the most important thing for this is, what do you have here in between your...
This is Elfin Thyme.
Oh my.
And I just bought it in flats, and it was tiny little plugs, and I just planted this in the fall, and it's already grown quite a bit.
It's so pretty, Allyson.
And I do have spaghetti tubing, drip tubing all around the stones, so
Okay.
it does get water every day. This is the
Okay.
main line you can see.
Yeah.
So it does need water.
Do you have the inline emitter tubing? Is that what you do?
Yes,
Or
I hate using
emitters?
the emitter. I hate them. They pop off. I hate them.
They're annoying.
Yes, so I just have the spaghetti tubing with the little holes in it wrapped around, and it's super happy. So I eventually will carry it through the whole walkway, but I just didn't know if it'd take, and I didn't want to spend the money on it if it wasn't going to survive.
Yeah.
So this whole area here is just kind of my trial area this year.
Yeah.
And it's working, so I'll definitely extend it.
Yeah.
And this section here gets full sun all day, like
my
no break,
gosh.
and it's perfectly happy.
So I have walked by this elephantine so many times in the garden
Mm-hmm.
center and looked at it and touched it and walked right by because I was thinking it couldn't handle our heat.
Yeah.
But to see it here in full sun, especially right there,
Yep.
I'm like, all right,
It's doing great.
I'm doing it.
It's doing great.
Because it's so pretty. It just softens everything.
It does.
And once this grows in, it's going to just be incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you have 2 more hydrangeas here.
Yes, Limelight Prime.
Limelight Prime. Those are so pretty. They're
I'm
going to
very
do
excited
so
about
good.
those.
And then this is a little shade garden, right?
Yeah, I've never had really much shade to work with. And so I don't know that I'll keep all of these plants here, but I just tossed them in because I've never been able to grow these.
But that's
And I wanted to try.
And that's a fun way to do it, is
Yeah.
just to throw everything in
Yeah.
and see what takes.
Right.
And then you kind of know the way to go after
Right.
that, right?
Yes.
So you have some
Lungwort.
lungwort, caladiums.
Caladiums, yep.
I'm interested to see how those do.
Yeah, those are the heart to heart from
Oh, they are.
Proven Winner.
Yeah. And then coleus, and then hosta, a
hosta.
beautiful hosta.
I can't believe that had no blooms on it when I put it in there a month ago.
Do you not have slugs?
I do.
And
I have
snails?
slugs really bad, but I have been baiting
Oh, you have?
religiously over here because
Oh,
I
good.
knew that they would love it.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
would love to put more hostas in underneath this crepe myrtle.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah.
Here, let me back up and show the crepe
oh.
myrtle. Harry, you're underfoot, aren't you?
Always.
Look. And did you plant this one?
I planted this one. So
look
when
at
I
the
had grass
blooms.
here, there were a few plants that I put in just as like landscape plants.
Uh-huh.
So the only thing that's left is the crepe myrtle, which I
Okay.
planted. There's a St. John's wort in the corner there, and then this Rose of Sharon behind you has been there
Stunning.
for about 14 years.
Is this the one that you got from the Master Gardeners?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the one that you cut back hard.
Yes, cut it back hard for the first couple of years.
So explain what cut back hard means. Like to 6 inches or?
I mean, I just kind of wing it. I don't know. I mean, I would say no more than a foot.
Okay.
I mean, fully cut it back is what I did.
Wow.
And I did that for 2 or 3 seasons maybe. And it really, I mean, it's hard to see now because
Yeah.
it's all leafed out, but it has a really solid trunk.
Okay.
And then all of the main structure of the plant
Yeah.
have thick branches in there. And so now I just prune about a third of it every year.
Okay.
And it's always the last thing to leaf out in the garden. You think that it might be dead
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
But then it puts on this beautiful growth. And if you look closely, it's not even really in bloom yet. It's probably got, 10 to 12 buds on every single one of these little
Oh my gosh, you're right.
things.
Look at this.
It will be covered in these pinkish purpley blooms
Oh,
very soon.
Man. Who taught you to garden?
Nobody. I don't know. I just
Nobody
figured it
taught
out.
you to garden?
Well, I know. I mean, I have friends who garden, and my mom and my grandmother had gardens. I don't think they ever did anything to this degree.
Yeah.
I just kind of became obsessed with it.
I
Laura taught me to garden.
Laura, yeah. Laura taught us all to
Yeah,
garden.
yeah.
So I love the way that you garden because it's just so like, I try it and I
Yeah.
see if it works
Yeah.
and I learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
And it must be that builder attitude from your
Maybe.
dad, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just, I just love hearing you talk about how you cut things back and how
Sure.
you do this.
I'm not afraid to fail at
Which
things.
is so cool.
I did a friend once said to me that she was afraid because when she buys plants, she loves them so much and she doesn't want them to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my perspective is just that I love the space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually fall in love with any one particular plant. I
Okay.
love the space.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at big picture.
Yeah.
So it just makes me not afraid to cut things and divide things and dig stuff out.
And it's just like your garden is
Yeah.
benefiting from that,
Sure.
that thought process,
Right.
that way of doing it.
I
Because
also get things off of clearance racks, and I just put them in a pot, and hang on to them for a couple seasons and then put them in. I'm just, you know, well, like this Diamond Frost Euphorbia. I've never been able to get my hands on this. I randomly found this on a clearance rack at Lowe's for $3 a pop, and there was only 2.
Oh my gosh.
Proven winners. And so I was like, well, I'm buying that.
You buy that.
I didn't have a pot to put it in. Most people put it in pots.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I'll just stick it in the ground and see what it does.
You know what? I've had thoughts, because I've grown that in a pot and it didn't really do very well. I've had thoughts that I think that might do better in the ground
I
for
hope
us.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually kind of looks out of place now because I didn't have anything else here when I stuck that in the ground.
Yeah.
But I'll just move it.
Yeah.
Like the Russian sage back there that's loving its life. I moved that 4 times before I found the spot it loved.
I love you. You are such a good gardener.
Thanks.
Like, you have just a magic touch. I just think it's so fantastic.
Thanks. I kill things all the time.
Love it.
It's okay.
I love it. I think
totally
that is
okay.
such good advice, because look what happens when you kill things.
Yeah.
You learn what works well in your garden.
Yes.
And everybody's garden's different, because the fact that you have so much wind in this garden is shocking to me, because it doesn't seem like it, but you've learned what plants are going to be able to handle the wind, handle the heat.
It's just trial and error.
Oh, it's just so interesting, Allyson.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much for letting me come.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'm honored that you came. Oh, sorry, I just touched the mic.
You know what? I've been touching my mic. I'm sorry about the audio. And we're hot. It's gonna be like
hot already.
It's gonna be like 100-something degrees today.
106 here today.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're trying to get this done before the heat's too much. So anyway, Allyson, thank you so much. Is it okay if I link your Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll link your Instagram, because that's where I fell in love with your garden. Was just seeing
thank you.
the shed and seeing your raised beds and all that kind of stuff. And you really do have some great ideas.
Thank you.
And I'm copying you on all of them.
Okay.
So just be prepared.
Good. Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.